Yo, what the deal? It's your boy X.E.L.O. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you. Yes, you. Thank you for coming back. But if you are new here, do me a favor, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. That'll let you know when I drop another video. Today is going to be a different video. This is not my usual way of starting things, but I have to let you guys know Reaper isn't for everybody. I have to let you know that Cakewalk isn't for everybody. Cubase isn't for everybody. Ableton Live is not for everybody. FL Studio is not for everybody. But I do see a lot of people in the comments complaining is the only word I can think of about the CWP files being opened up inside of Reaper. It's something that was created by X.E.L. Big shout outs to X.E.L. We appreciate you, man, in all these communities, the Cakewalk community and in also the Reaper community, man. But he created a file where you can he created a script where you can open up CWP files inside of Reaper so that if you were thinking about leaving Cakewalk and go into Reaper, you'll still be able to kind of pull up those Cakewalk files that you had sitting on an old hard drive, or if you don't have, like, you know, Sonar Platinum anymore or any of the old stuff, you can still pull up those files inside of Reaper. And I thought that was truly amazing, and I wanted to share it with the community because that's what I do. I share out the knowledge that I have with the community, right? That's what this channel has been all about since the beginning. But there are channels out there inside of the Facebook community that are blocking some of the videos that I put out there. They're saying that I'm kind of spamming, which I don't understand. Everything I put out there is to try to help and support this whole network and team of people. And none of the things I put out there are trying to pull away from Cakewalk, if that's what they think that's going to happen. But I just want to make sure that everyone is prepared and have access to be able to do whatever they want to do with any DAW. Like, it doesn't have to just be Cakewalk. It doesn't have to only be Reaper. It doesn't have to only be FL. It doesn't have to only be Ableton. The reason I actually created this channel was to show people that you can make things in other DAWs. There's other things other than FL Studio and Ableton out there where you can actually make music, especially in the urban market. There's only been a few people in this whole journey that I've been on that have actually done any kind of urban music, and that was Bongonzo and ADK Studios. And now the only other person doing it now with me is Just the Norm. So that just goes to show how much, you know, people are supporting this DAW. Like, there's not that many people out there doing these kind of videos. Even like Creative Sauce has moved on to kind of Studio One. He still has a Cakewalk channel that he just created. Now you still have people like Home Studio Simplified who still uses Cakewalk, but that's probably about it for the market. Like, of the people you actually see out there using and pushing Cakewalk on these videos, that's probably about the limit you're gonna get, which is sad because it's a great DAW. I think it's fantastic DAW. That's why I've used it for like 3 years. I think the Pro channel is amazing. I think the Arranger is amazing. I think the export is amazing on these DAWs. But you guys don't give it a chance to grow because, you know, of the bakers kind of setting stuff up. Then you have BandLab who's saying now we're gonna actually charge you guys for this stuff, and no one knows how much they're going to charge. It's been over a year. No, it hasn't been over a year. I'm exaggerating. It's been just about a year that they announced that they're going to be coming out back with Sonar and Cakewalk next, and we haven't seen any pricing for either one of these DAWs as of yet. There's been other DAWs that have released so many different things. FL Studio has done 2 releases since this Cakewalk announcement. Ableton has come out with a new release. Cubase has come out with Cubase 13 since this release. Studio One 6.5 has been out. Bitwig 5. So like all these other DAWs have already dropped. Don't even get me started on Reaper. Reaper is up to like 7.15 right now or something like that. So all these DAWs are kind of doing what they need to do and pushing forward, while we feel so stagnant with Cakewalk. And then there's people having issues with the activation inside of BandLab. You get this little pop-up saying, oh yeah, BandLab is not going to function because you need to get this activated. And there are a lot of people that are getting very frustrated with that. So I want to make sure that people still have the means and options to create music, whether that be in Cakewalk, whether that be in Reaper, whether that be in FL, Cubase, Logic, whatever you're actually using. A lot of the people that come to my channel don't even use Cakewalk, but they come here just to see how I function, how I move around in this DAW. So with that being said, I'm just kind of airing things out. Like I said, this is going to be a different video. I know you guys are used to me just kind of getting into the DAWs and showing you things, but I do want to show you some things in here. There's been a lot of people complaining about the CWP files inside of Reaper, and I want to explain to you guys and show you exactly why those things are actually happening. So let's actually get into some part of the video where it's not just me talking smack. All right, big face is in the way. I haven't used this in a while. Sorry, ladies and gents. All right. I think this top right hand corner should be good. I don't see an issue with it. So yeah, so let's start from here. So this is Cakewalk, and if you want to actually get this theme, the theme should be below in the link of the description of this video. If the link is not working, please just email me at info@xelohh.com and I'll send that out to you. I have two themes. There's a light one and a dark one, and this is my dark one right now. All right, so with that being said, as you see, the customization inside of Cakewalk is something that I've always loved. The Pro channel was another reason that I really loved Cakewalk, and the Arranger was also a very, very good update. I think that was one of the best updates that was done inside of Cakewalk, and also the export feature where you can actually do multiple things in the export at one time, and then, you know, go have a coffee or a drink or whatever and let that ride out. Right. So as you can see, my customization is a little different from other people's. I have my browser on the left hand side, and I got this from FL Studio because I was an FL Studio user for a very long time, and then I moved over to Cakewalk. Right. And then I have my master, and then I have my effects. So I have a compressor, reverb, delay, and a chorus down here. And this is how I like to have things set up. So I have my buses set up already. As soon as I open up the DAW, I have my browser usually on the left hand side, so I can kind of search really easy in there. And you know, of course, your console view, and it's really easy to add things inside of Cakewalk, and we all know this. So let me move over to Reaper real quick. So here is Reaper, and this theme is called Reaper Tips. So if you're interested in getting that Reaper Tips theme, this is the one I'm using for this. So as you see, left hand side, I have my browser or media explorer, whatever you want to call it. Right. And the difference is my buses are over here on this left hand side, and I have like a little divider. Right. And then I have my master channel over here. This is how I feel comfortable inside of Reaper doing things. So let's say I wanted to add a track. I could just double click in this space here and boom, it adds a track. I think that's super simple. Or you can just right click and add an instrument. So I can go to insert virtual instrument on this track, and let's just make one really quick. Actually, let's not. All right, so the difference is, as you can see inside of Reaper, this right here, it doesn't matter what you put on here. If you put an audio, right? So I'm gonna take this hi-hat, I'm gonna put it over here, right? So I have a hi-hat, and let's duplicate it, right? So now let's say I wanted to have a MIDI on this same exact channel. I can put it right on here. Go to Control and drag across. Right. So this is my MIDI, and if I double click it, it'll bring up the piano roll. So let's say we make a chord, right? So I'm gonna go and let's make a chord. Boom, boom, and boom. So we have a chord there, right? So it doesn't matter if I put a video on here, if I put MIDI on here, if I put audio on here, all of it will play. A track is just a track inside of Reaper. right? So if I go back to the beginning and play this. Oh, I don't have an instrument. I'm sorry. Let me add an instrument on here. I'm going to add the Keyzone Classic. Close this out. So if I play this, so like I said, everything can be on one channel inside of Reaper, whereas in Cakewalk, everything has to be separate. So your audio file has to be separate from your instrument, right? Or your MIDI track. So I'm gonna add an instrument track, and as you see, I have to go and actually add an instrument. I'm just gonna use this guitar just to make it easy. All right, so when you make a track inside of Cakewalk, this is called an instrument track. So it combines the MIDI and the audio together to make one track. It's the only DAW that I know that actually does this. So if I needed to, I can separate them. I can right click on here, right? And it gives me an option that says split instrument track. So this is what the true instrument track looks like. So you have your MIDI up here, and then you have your actual sound or instrument down here. So when you're playing, this is what you're hearing. Whereas if this was in Reaper, you would have a separate track for your MIDI and you would have a separate track for your sound. And that's why when you move CWP files into Reaper, you'll see that there's two lines, especially if you have an instrument track set up. You'll see almost like a bus, and then you have like a child underneath it. That's how Reaper analyzes these tracks from Cakewalk, right? But it's still just one channel inside of Cakewalk. So if I can combine these back. And make it into an instrument track. See? So that is the difference. And that's why sometimes when you pull up a CWP file, it does not show up the same way that it does inside of Cakewalk. The same thing goes for buses. So if I have anything routed to these buses, it's going to go to the bus as like the main track. And then it'll have like children underneath it. That's how Reaper actually analyzes the tracks. And anything you put inside the effects, you should still see inside of Reaper. But if you go over here to this Pro channel and you add, say, like this compressor, this will not show up inside of Reaper. And usually you'll get like a little error when you're pulling it up, and it'll say this is not, it couldn't pull up a certain file. And this would be the ones that it usually doesn't pull up. And there was a lot of people actually saying that they didn't want another EQ in here, which I didn't understand. That was one of my things that I really want Cakewalk to do, is be able to add another one of these EQs inside of the Pro channel. It just makes sense, because usually if you're actually doing any kind of editing for EQ inside of the Pro channel, it may be to take away stuff or to add stuff. And I know people are going to complain and say about this Sonivox one that's in there, it's not the same. Not saying that the Sonivox one is not good. I'm not saying that there's not other EQs out there that you can actually use. I'm just saying, if you have a Pro channel, why not be able to use more than one EQ inside of it? That was my whole like discussion or argument. And there are people that are shooting that down, which I don't understand. When you're actually trying to compare other DAWs to each other, because it is what we do as people, we compare things. So if I'm going to be paying, let's say, they say Sonar right now is going to be $300 for Sonar. Now you have options on the table and say, do I want to stick with Sonar where I know it doesn't have a sampler? I know it doesn't have a way to tune stuff. I can only do one EQ inside of the Pro channel. Some people don't even use the Pro channel or like the Pro channel at all. And it's missing a whole lot of other little features that other DAWs do have. Some people may say, oh, that's just bloatware and I won't use them. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. But people want more for their money. They're not just going to settle for what's there. So if you put out Sonar as it is now, basically is what this Cakewalk is just the Sonar is just a little bit more graphics added onto it. And it runs maybe a little bit faster. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. It still doesn't have like some of the features that other DAWs have. So do I go with Studio One that has a sampler, that has a drum machine, comes with sounds? Like what do you do? Do you go with X.E.L that has a whole bunch of sounds and plugins and things like that? Do you go with Ableton that has a whole bunch of sounds and plugins and samplers already inside of it? Do you go with Reaper, which is cheaper, and you're still able to open up CWP files in there? So basically all your Cakewalk files will be able to open up inside of Reaper. I'm going to tell you a story. I had one time where, let me show my face a little bit bigger. All right, so there was a time where I actually needed some files from Cakewalk. It was for a project for a TV film. And I was trying to pull it up inside of Cakewalk and it would not open. So I used the method to try to just open it with no plugins. And then I found out that for some reason, the VST2 was no longer inside of Cakewalk and only the VST3 was in there. So it would not open the project whatsoever. It wouldn't open it. Luckily, I did have the xelohh downloaded inside of my Reaper. I pulled up the CWP file inside of Reaper, changed out all of the instruments and made them VST3s, and it pulled up inside of Reaper, and I was able to deliver that stuff to the library because I had that inside of Reaper already. So just imagine, like I could have been losing out on some money right there just because a simple error that Cakewalk could not fix, where other DAWs will just switch it out for the VST3 if it knows it's the same thing. But for some reason, Cakewalk would not recognize it as being the same thing and it wouldn't pull up. So these are just some of the things that do happen. Sorry for the rant, but it had to be said. Just to let some of you guys know that do follow me on some of those Facebook posts. I will probably stop posting to a couple particular Facebook groups just because if they don't want me there, I don't need to post there, kind of thing, you know. But that's neither here nor there. Make sure you guys are kind of liking and subscribing to the channel. I'm going to stop this rant and I'm going to get off of here. But this is one of the reasons why I'm saying Reaper is not for everybody. And I know that. So if you do have a comment about it, leave a comment below in the description. Yeah, once again, it's your boy X.E.L. Till next time, people. Peace.